Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham and I'm in Kalgoorlie. I'm at the 2022 Diggers and Dealers Talkfest where I've been catching up with some very interesting people. The reason these people are interesting is because they're not the MDs or the CEOs of the particular companies they work for. They are the people further down the food chain who seem to know just as much, if not more, about the companies. You've been involved in the industry for quite some time.
15 years now, Wally. Not that I like to admit it, but yep, 15 years.
15 years and you've still got a smile on your face?
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
That must mean that you enjoy yourself.
Look, I feel really fortunate. I feel really lucky. I've had quite an interesting career. I feel like I've worked for some really great companies, but I'm still working for a great company. So no, I still definitely have a smile on my face. I feel really positive about this industry.
All right, so if we were to describe your role, you're a resource geo, is that correct?
Yeah, so given I work for a junior, I definitely do a bit of everything, but I'm more looking after the resource estimation side of things and interpretation. I'm still working with consultants. I'm not fully fledged, so I'm still learning, and I feel really fortunate that these guys are giving me that development. So yeah, I still look after the rigs. I still do a lot of the planning, interpreting, database, bit of everything. So yeah. So going back 15 years, yep.
Tell me, why did Claire say I'm going to be a geo?
So 15 years ago, I was going to university and I was doing landscape architecture. And I remember I got back from a trip up north and I was like, I'm at uni for no reason. I don't know why I'm here. My brother said, look, don't waste money building up a HECS debt. Went to Kalgoorlie, been used from people up here, and I got a job as a driller's offsider, working in grade control in the Northern Territory. I'm glad I did it. I learnt some things about sample theory that I now try and teach offsiders. But I became a field assistant and working around here in Kalgoorlie, and then I met a few graduate geos and I was like, you know what, I think I'd rather do what they do. The career, progress, projection, there were better opportunities. And I was still enrolled at uni in Perth, so for me it was like, I'll give it a try, and I loved being a fieldy. So being a geo just seemed to be that extension.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were able to make the most of those potential.
Absolutely. So now I look back, it's the best thing I ever did was be a fieldy, because every job opportunity I had, especially as a graduate, came out of the fact that they're like, wicked, you've been a fieldy. So I got job opportunities a lot sooner than a lot of other people, especially UWA doesn't have that connection like Curtin does to industry. And because I'd been up here, I had friends, that I had employment, and then from there, but definitely having that connection was definitely the best thing that ever happened, which is not why I came up here. So it was a happy accident.
Yeah. Oh, well, it looks like someone who's enjoying their job and someone who's going to hopefully enjoy it.
I hope to keep coming back, and maybe I'll be his job one day. Don't tell him.
All right, so Sam, you're a recruiting specialist for the mining industry with Hayes Recruiters. So what came first, the chicken or the egg, the recruiting or the mining?
The recruiting.
Recruiting. And so as a recruiter, you are put into the mining industry as a recruiter for the mining.
Yes, so we get given a choice through the hiring process, and mining was the most interesting to me at the time.
Yeah. So when you got into it, did you have any knowledge of the industry? Was
Zero.
It sort of, yeah. And so how long have you been doing it now?
3 years.
3 years. So you've obviously been on quite a substantial learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots to learn.
And so no doubt what you've learned makes it easier when companies come to ask for certain criteria about a possible candidate. You can say, we've got people who can estimate your resources, who can come in and drill your rigs or do such and such. Is that the sort of thing?
With the more time that's gone on, obviously my knowledge has developed and grown over that period of time. So it's certainly been easier to navigate and place people in.
Yeah. And generally, the mining industry, what do they like to work with?
Oh, good. I recruit for engineers. So.
Oh, okay. And so they're nice people.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely.
All right. Well, 3 years. Do you sort of see this being a long-term thing, or a stepping stone to some other?
I really enjoy it. I love it. I love working with people, and I get to meet new people every day. So I can't see myself doing anything else at the moment. It's pretty good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we specialise in directional surveying. So these tools, they're gyro tools. So they're used after drilling, mostly in diamond drilling, RC drilling, and the tool goes down the hole and basically records the coordinate points of where it is in the ground. So all the data then goes into a cloud-based system. And the geologists look at that, and so they look at it compared to their planned drilling. They look at the deviation of the hole. So every drill hole they think is planned straight, but there's lots of factors that actually mean that the drilling will deviate from that planned hole.
Okay, so because I've often seen downhole surveys and pretended I knew what people were talking about, but so when you say like downhole survey, you actually get the core and look at the core or the actual hole.
So this tool here, it's quite a new technology, but previously you would survey after they've gotten the core, but this one can actually pick up the core tube and survey at the same time. So it's not surveying whilst drilling, but it's now part of the process. So
Okay.
so it's saving a lot of time as well. Previously the surveys would add quite a lot of time onto the drilling, but now that it's factored into that time, it's saving the drillers a lot.
So is this sort of a thing that the company can use instead of waiting for the assays to come back, which takes quite some time now? They can have the downhole survey done, and that gives them an indication that we are drilling in the right place.
So I guess it goes into the geologist database that tells them where the drilling has been. So they use that in exploration to map out everything. This tool also is used in production hole surveying, so blast holes, so they're shorter holes. And you have to manually push it up the hole, but that'll help them look at the data, and if the deviation is quite bad, they can either drill another hole or change their blasting patterns. Because sometimes the blasting doesn't pull, and so you lose all of that. All of that. Yeah.
All right. So, how long have you been involved in downhole drilling?
So Mike started the company in 1989, so over 30 years now. It's a bit of a family business, so Mike is my stepdad. Megan, the general manager, is my sister, and our brother also works.
So it is a big family concern.
But we love working for the family, and we're sort of very passionate about making sure the business is successful. So.
Hastings Technology Metal is the company you work for. Can you tell me please what your position is there?
So I work as a GM Environment, General Manager of Environment for Hastings, and my role is environmental approvals, permitting, and environmental management at an operational level on site.
Okay.
So compliance and monitoring and
all
all that.
Because I was about to say that all sounds very interesting. Can you sort of expand and just sort of let us know what that involves?
So environmental permitting requires us to do baseline surveys of the environment in which we want to set up a project. So we look at vegetation, flora, fauna, groundwater, surface water, and then we look at the impact our mine is going to have on that surrounding environment. And we have to prepare an environmental impact assessment for the Western Australian Environmental Protection Authority and the Commonwealth Federal Environmental Authority as well. And we go through about a 2-year permitting process.
Okay. So do you come to the job as an environmental scientist, or are you a geologist? What's your...
No, I'm environmental scientist. So I've got a farming background. Grew up in the wheat belt, like the land and like resources, I guess, in general. And then studied environmental science at university and ended up in mining.
Well, and comes to my next question. You ended up in mining. How did that happen, and when did that happen? Is this the first gig in mining, or have you done before?
Yeah, it's been almost 30 years now in mining. So as a final year assignment in soil science at university, I studied microbial activity in topsoil storage.
Okay.
So many mining companies will come to universities with projects for that final year assignment, and that gave me an interest in mining, and from there I started in mining, and several companies and several locations later, here I am.
It is that sort of industry, isn't it? The same, I mean, I fell into it by accident myself, and I don't think there's any getting out of it. I think once you're sort of in there, you're there.
That's true. It's good fun. There's lots to learn. You can work on many different commodities and different natural environments as well, which keeps the interest there and a range of work.
All right. Well, no, it sounds like you've got a lot to work with there.
Yes. At Hastings, we're setting up the new mine in the Gascoyne. So new environment, not many mines around, lots to learn in terms of the background environment. Make sure that we responsibly mine in the area.